descobrir quem você é. Parece que os seus erros foram professores de vida real. Tira suas máscaras, revela suas imperfeições. Vê que na verdade a sua imagem é mais um comercial. 30 segundos no ar custa caro demais pro produto que é. Sem garantia de uso, nota fiscal, as cores da sua embalagem te enganaram tão bem que agora você é incapaz de saber quem você é. Então me diga pra quê fechar seus olhos e não ver, fazer mentiras escuras pro mundo. Pessoas são frágeis, palavras podem ser fatais, mas descobrir nunca é demais. Olhe os seus olhos no espelho da alma, mas não perca a calma ao descobrir que você parece que os seus erros foram professores de vida real. Tira suas máscaras, revela suas imperfeições. Sigo em frente mesmo, tendo que assistir a ti. Não mais normal, atitudes que talvez não pude perceber. Prefiro crer que são disfarces em você. Negar, fechar, guardar dentro de você. Fingindo não ajudou que acreditava ser. Tentar viver mais uma vez. Sentindo mais vazios dentro enlouquece, une não sabe o que é cooperação. Me diga por que sorriso então. Assinar o ponto, seu transporte está lotado.
So yeah guys, I did it. 160 kgs is my absolute best. Is my PR in concrete weight manufacturing, if you will. And in this video I wanted to talk a little bit more about this manufacturing side. I already made another video about, my weight plates themselves, how I do them. You can check it out. It's a little bit in more detail. This video I wanted to talk more about the process, how you can make more plates in less time. And yeah, this video is kind of divided in two parts. There's the first part, which is a little bit of a presentation, which is basically me just rambling and making, drawings in paint, and talking about some things that you can do to make more plates in less time, to make everything more efficient. And then the second part is the montage of the work itself, the 7 days. And I've put some tips there also. So yeah, i I think it's an interesting topic, for me to make a video on. Is a Was a very big project, 160 kilos is a lot of weight, and in 7 days especially. So yeah, I hope you guys like this content. Hope it helps you guys, and yeah, let's get on with the video. Okay, guys, let's just play a little game. Okay, pretend that you own a factory. You're the owner of a factory. Okay, and your factory produces weight plates. Okay, you produce weight plates and you sell them. Sell those plates, and that's how you make your money. So you're in a meeting with your CEOs. Yeah, I'm one of your CEOs. I'm doing a presentation for you on the factors that hold back our production, hold back our profit the most. Okay, and you're sitting there listening to me, and I would say that the biggest factor that holds us back as a business would be the molds. Okay, the molds would be the most important factor. Why? Because, well, first of all, imagine if you only have one mold, you can only do one plate at a time. If you have two molds, you can do two plates at a time. If you have a bunch of molds, you have the potential to make a bunch of plates at a time. So the most molds that you have, the better. The more molds that you have, the better. So the first point about molds would be the number, the amount, the quantity, okay, of the molds. Quantity, okay. But you see, it's not just about the quantity, because your molds have to be reusable. Okay, this is huge, by the way. This is one of the things that made me do made my own manufacturing so much more productive, is to make those molds, reusable molds made out of plastic sheets. I talked more about them in my other video. I put the link in the description. You know, you've seen around the internet, a bunch of molds made out of cardboard, which is great. They make great plates, but they're not reusable. If you have a mold that tears apart every time that you do a plate, have to make a new mold for each plate that you do. So imagine how much time that you lose doing that. So you know molds that are reusable, it's huge. It's a huge thing. So yeah, reusable molds is another thing. There's molds being reusable. You just have to assemble them, fill them, disassemble them, clean them, and they're all ready to be used again. So yeah, it's huge. And the third point, which my molds don't exactly satisfy that criteria, but it's something to think about. You know, something to think about. Uh, Imagine your molds are solid. Okay, if you have solid molds, because my plates are an assembling. They're not one piece. They're not exactly solid. You have the plastic sheet, which is malleable. You can bend it. You have to take it. You have to tape it to the base. You have to tape the PVC pipe. So they're not one piece. Uh, so you have to assemble them, and that takes time. So if you have a mold that is one piece, like a container of some sort, it's better for productivity. You can make more. The disadvantage of using like a plastic container or a pan or any container is that you cannot control the volume, you cannot control the space there that is in here, you cannot control the shape that the plate comes out, the weight, and so on. So that this is the disadvantage, but the advantage regarding productivity, making more plates in less time, is that you don't have to assemble everything. The mold is one piece. You just fill it up, take it out, and yeah. So it's something to think about. Uh, I think you know, my my molds are good because you can control everything. You can control the volume, you can control the weights. You see later in the video, I weight all the plates. The precision is great. It's more precise than a lot of iron plates out there. So yeah, that's it for the molds. The next point, like, kind of ties into this, which is okay, guys. Next point, like, ties a little bit into the previous point. I talked about molds. Now I talk about workforce. Okay, workforce, which is the second biggest choke in your production. Okay, so we as a factory, imagine that we fixed the mold problem. We made ourselves a mold making machine. We have fucking a bunch of molds right here, 100,000 molds, okay? But we don't have the workforce. Oh my god. We don't have the workforce to fill those molds up. So it's no good. It's no good. You have a bunch of molds lying here, but you cannot fill them up, um, fill them all up at once. So you have to have a bigger workforce. And how can you do that? Here's an idea. I never did that. Always made my shit, all by myself. But here's an interesting idea that I think I'll do in the future, which is outsourcing. Okay, outsourcing, thing, which is basically, you hire someone, a handyman, someone that you know you pay them for the day, and then mix up the concrete for you while you stand here. You lazy, you lazy sack of shit. You stand here. You wait for him to mix it up for you, and you pour into the molds. Okay, this is good because filling up those molds. You cannot just toss the cement in here. You have to be careful. You have to spread it evenly on the inside the mold, so the mixture fills up the space quite well. You don't want it to have empty space or air inside of the molds, which is what happens if you don't spread the weights evenly. So you have to have a little bit of finesse, and only you kind of can have that because the plates are yours. You have that care. This guy right here, he doesn't care if you make him fill out the molds. He's not going to have the same attention as you. So you make him just mixing the mixture, quite simple. Mixing the mixture, and he'll then give it to you and you fill it up. So another thing is that you take, a one-man job and you turn it into a two-man job, okay? Because you mix it in, when it's time to fill up, it's a good, 20 minutes. Let's say you mix in like two buck two buckets of mixture, to pour that in a careful way. It's a good 20 minutes. So you have to stop, then do this, then come back here, mix in more, and come back there. So it's a one-man job. It takes time. So you divide that into two people. It's a lot faster. So yeah, there's another idea that you can do to increase, the output of your factory, is increase the workforce. And another idea is to, rent, or even I don't know, buy a cement mixing machine. I don't know what it's called. It's a machine that, spins the mixture inside, and you can rent it. You can buy it. There's tutorials on YouTube on how to make it using uh, washing machine engine. So you can check it out if you want. It's a good idea. I will do one of this in the future. I will bring it here to the channel, but you know, throw that throw that out for you. Okay. So yeah, that's workforce. That's the second biggest point. So guys, in the third point, I use the same background to kind of illustrate that point, which is space organization. Okay. Remember that we are a factory. Okay. Organization. Okay. We are a factory. And in a factory, every step of the production has a place that it happens. Okay. You have the raw materials, then you refine them, and then you maybe turn it into, different things, maybe, and then you ship them out. Every place, every step of the production has a place that it happens. So you have to think the same way. You can see my space right here. You have the two tools available: the shovel, the bucket. Okay, that's the first one. And then you have my mixture. My cement and my sand is already here on top of this bench. Okay, on the corner of the room. So what I do is, what you will see me do in this video is, I'll toss the dry mixture in here. Okay, so this is the place that the dry mixture stays. Then I toss it here to mix it up, make the actual mixture, throw water, make the mixture, toss it in the bucket, throw it here. The molds will be here on top of this bench right here. The molds will be here. Then I fill it up, wait for it like one day. They'll be dry enough for me to take them out. I take them out and I leave them resting here on top of these blocks. Okay, wait another day, and then you can see that every place, every step of the production, and every place has a function. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to point out. Okay, this might seem like obvious, but it's not. If you actually organize and think about the space, it makes a massive difference. And I'm talking as someone who didn't have all that. I did this shit, whatever. I just fucking mixed in a bunch of cement. I just didn't think about any of that. So if you have a little bit of organization, it makes goes a long way, especially if you want to make, the most plates, such, a big project like I did this time, which is 160 kilos in 7 days. To make such, you know that amount of weight in such little time, you need to have some sort of organization. So yeah, then they're resting here, wait another day, then I leave them, then I take them here to scrub them with sandpaper, give that kind of finishing. Then I leave them resting here for another day, and then in the final day, you see me, taking them here to the bench, which is about here, and I spray paint them. I spray paint them here, and then I leave them resting here again. So you can see that it's a fucking web, you know. Everything has its place, has its function. And yeah, so if you can assign every a function to every little space that you have, like you are a factory, you know, it really helps with how easy things flow, and you'll be able to make more plates in the process, be more productive. So, which is the point of what I'm trying to say right here. So yeah, this is spatial organization, which leads me on to my next point, which is okay, guys. In the previous point, I talked about spatial organization. Now I'm going to talk about the last point, which is time organization. Okay, time organization. Okay, you can kind of visualize in the time span that you set out to do plates. For example, mine in this video is 7 days. Okay, if you can visualize in this time span, okay, those 7 days, exactly what are you gonna do? It makes the process a lot easier. Okay, it makes everything flow much better. I say this because this might seem obvious, but I like I say, I usually didn't care about that. I usually just did, you know, just did some days I did this, some days I did that, you know, and wasn't really organized. So in this video, for example, you see me having like a structure. Okay, day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, day six, day seven. So I have enough experience that I can kind of visualize what I have to do. For example, the day one, I have to make the molds. Okay, I had to make the molds from scratch this time. So I made the molds, I assembled them. Day two, I mixed it. Okay, I mixed in the cement and poured into the molds. Day three, I took the molds out. Okay, I cleaned them and I assembled them again. Day day four, I mixed it again. Okay, day five, I cleaned those molds again. Okay, and disassembled them, and then I scrubbed, you know, the the place that I did in day two. Day six, I did nothing. Day seven, I scrubbed the plates that I did in day three, and then I painted them all. So I kind of knew what I was going to do, you know, in this time span. Another tip that I give you is that when you do your plates, you know, organize it so that you have a kind of time span that you do it sequentially, like work a little bit every single day until you are finished. You know, just don't do it like, I don't know, man. Just organize it so that you work. I don't know if you understand me, but yeah, organize it so that you work in consecutive days. You know, don't leave this shit like unresolved, if you will. I don't well, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but yeah, I think you get it. And this is simple. It was 1 week's the time spent, but it could be like 10 days, it could be 5 days, it could be 14 days, whatever. So just organize the time spent, which you are going to do, and what are you going to do in each day. It makes the process a lot better. Trust me, because I didn't do that. I had to do that because this project that I did, as I said, it's a lot of weight in little time. So I had to maximize everything. So yeah, the final point is this: time organization makes everything go up. Yeah. So guys, I would try to talk a little bit more about my situation, so you and about my history, so you can have like a context. You know why what I'm saying in this video is important. Okay, so I started this home gym thing in January 2021. Okay, and I started with this bar right here, my old bar, which is 2.2 meters, Olympic length, but the sleeves are 1 inch, so it doesn't have like it's not an Olympic bar, but the sleeves are thinner, so all my weights, all the holes inside, I did, to fit this bar right here. And I started at January 2021, and amidst work, amidst studying, uh, I managed to finish all my weights with my old bar in January 2023. Okay, so that's a 2 year process, and I remember in the late 2022 when I had finished most of my weights is when I made the most gains. Okay, I made the most progress because there's a psychological factor to having a lot of plates. I'd say it's really important that you have a lot of plates, a lot of weight at your disposal because I don't know, it's just psychology, man. You need to. I think you progress a little bit faster when you have a lot of weight. You can, if you don't have enough weight, you can progress in different uh, parameters, but weight is not the only factor. But having a lot of weight, in my opinion, is really important. Psychological. So I was here January 2023. I had finished all my weights, and I thought, I'm set. I'm set. I have all the weights. I'm gonna have, I'm gonna make the greatest gains because finally I finished this kind of finished this fucking gym, which is a lot of work to do. And then what happened was, in January 2024, I bought this beauty right here, which is an actual Olympic bar, which is the same length, but the sleeves are thicker and they have the bearings that roll. Okay, so I bought a different bar. I bought bumper plates. I have two 20s, 20. I'm talking kgs right here, not pounds. Two 20s, two 10s, two 5s, two 2.5s, and two 1.5. So I think in total I have 97.5, something like that, kgs, around 97 kgs total for this bar. So yeah, I didn't have, that wasn't enough weight. So I told myself, I have to make more weight. So I start with bumper plates, and I, kind of fill it up with the concrete weights. So let's keep it to 2025, January 2025, and I didn't make the plates. Amidst work and school, I started, university, and I ended up not making this plates. I was an idiot. Actually, I was fucking stupid. I could have made those plates in this time spent, but I didn't. Okay, uh, it was busy. It was busy, but there's no excuse. I could have done it, you know, in here, but I didn't. So I was here January 2025. Spent the whole year, with only this weight. So that is not enough. That is not enough. I had some fun. I made some progress in some exercises, but it was almost like I don't want to say I wasted 1 year, but you know what I'm saying. I changed my training. I made some progress in some exercises. I had fun, but you know I kind of spin my wheels for 1 year because I didn't have the equipment, because I didn't make equipment. So let's keep it to March 2025. okay, which is when I made those plates right here, seen this video. Okay, I was in vacation from university, from college, and I said to myself, okay, now is the time. Now you have to make those plates because you're in vacation. You're clear for like 2 months, and I managed to procrastinate the whole 2 months. So the content that you see in this video, those 7 days, these are the 7 last days of vacation that I had. So I had to pull off a miracle. I had to pull up a miracle because I said to myself, if you don't do those plays now, you will spend another semester, another 6 months without weights, without enough weights. So you have to pull up a miracle right here. You have to make a lot of plays in the last time because otherwise you're never gonna do this shit. So I had to plan and execute this miracle. So what you see, this is my inspiration to make those videos. So why I'm telling you this so that you don't make the same mistake that I did. Okay, if you can kind of plan ahead, maybe if you can get an Olympic bar from the go, you do so because can make all the weights according to the standard, you know, the standard, I don't know, size, whatever. And if you have to do them again, because sometimes it happens, at the beginning I couldn't buy this bar right here. All I could do is buy this one. So you do what you have to do in the beginning. If you have to do it all again, this information is important because it kind of teaches you to make the process, less difficult. So it flows better. Everything flows better, and you don't you don't spend this much time, procrastinating to do your fucking plates. So why that's my intention with this video, to help so you don't make the same mistake that I did. So there's less friction for you when you go make your plates and don't like waste progress. So yeah, the easier the process flows, the better for you. And yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, last week of March of the vacation, whatever, I managed to do those plates, and I ended up editing this video. It was late April. So you see fucking how how long I take to do those things. Don't make those same mistakes that I did. So yeah, I think that's it. Let's get on with the montage of the work of the 7 days. Okay, guys, final conclusions on this video. Okay, let's put up some numbers. Let's pull up some non-official statistics. Okay, I'm going to talk about the costs. Okay, here I live in Brazil, so our currency is the real, Brazilian real or real, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to, you know, draw a comparison with our currency. I don't know if it's the same, comparison with your currency, but I'm just gonna give my example. Okay, in here, if you buy all the 160 kgs in iron plates, okay, you can see how they look. They look fucking perfect. If you buy the same 160 kgs in iron plates, you will spend about 1600, currency, reais, whatever. Okay, you will spend about 1600 of our currency. Okay, want to know how much I spent, doing my plates? 300. Okay, 300. This is, rounded numbers, not exactly that, and this is, I'm lowballing this because it's a bigger value, and this is, I'm highballing this because it's actually smaller, but just talking whole numbers, just to make it easier to understand. Okay, so 300, which is 5.3 times less than this. So this is the advantage to make concrete weights is fucking much cheaper for the same fucking weight. Okay, if you can do one that looks like this, okay, you're not gonna miss our employees. And I showed them, I weighted them, they're the fucking same regarding weight. Okay, so and this was higher for my center because remember I had to buy the of this 300 that I spent. Okay, I had to, again, I'm rounding this is not exactly it, but I had to spend 100 to buy the plastic. 100 was for the materials and the cement, the sand. I bought sandpaper. I bought a new saw to saw the pipes, whatever. 100 and 100 to buy spray paint, which is spray paint is much more expensive than liquid paint. So I'd spend more. I spent more here and here. This, the plastic ones you don't have to spend all the time because the as I said, the molds are reusable. This is not a you know reoccurrence. And this, I didn't have to spend this much because of spray paint. I could just painted them with liquid paint, and I would spend more. So let's say that the value that if I actually saved, was to be, let's say 200, which is fucking 8 times less. So yeah, guys, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fucking work, but it's totally worth it because I don't even have to say anymore. The the numbers speak for themselves. It's totally worth it. And yeah, if you're actually serious about making everything by yourself, making your home gym, make your plates. So I hope this video helps. I hope this content helps. I thought it would. I thought it was, an interesting topic to cover. Yeah, yeah. As I said, I hope it helps. And yeah, see you guys.